crossed. I don't know what's going to happen here. All right, I got a little bit ahead here. I am to the wiring. So you saw I got the fuel system in last time. We have, I already went over this, but here's where it's mounted at. I got some wiring done here. I got it cleaned up stuff across there. Got the coil mounted, the coil wire, and I hooked up the two coil wires and then one for the tack. Instead of running it off of this, I know it'll work from here. So I got my tack hooked up there just because. And I ran my lines behind this, two big packs, and now I just need to hook all those up. Hook up the stuff on the carburetor. Got the PCV valve hooked up, heater line, vacuum lines right here. So there's a manifold vacuum, I'm pretty sure, because it should be the same as that manifold. So I got a manifold vacuum hooked up that runs up here for my air conditioning and condenser, and then my vacuum gauge and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get all that hooked up. Oh, let me see, before I get this wire hooked up, this goes to the fuel pump. I'm curious if this will pick up the sound of the fuel coming through, because I can hear it. Let's see if this will pick it up. So I'm gonna just take and get this wire on here, and then we'll see if you can hear the fuel pump working. I don't know if you can hear that. But there's no leaks. No leaks here. All looks good. Yeah, you can hear that. You can hear that fuel pump working. That's for sure. All right. So let's get this other stuff wired up. Let's get the camera set up where you guys can see what I'm doing while I'm trying to monkey with this stuff. I got started to work on my fuel bracket. We'll do that too for throttle linkage and throttle position sensor. I got most everything else run, and I got to need some new line for the brake booster. So let me get set up here and we'll get this going. All right, let's get this harness hooked up. So this has got all the fuel injectors and sensors and all this other stuff, and that's going to hook up over there. Let's see, so what do we got? We got fuel pump. Oh, fuel pressure. I was about to say, wait a minute, I already hooked that up. All right, map sensor, coolants. All right, so this is all the sensors. Pull that off to the side for a minute. And let's see how we're connected here. Let's see, injector 3. Well, which one is, oh, R. Okay, these are R3, R1, all right. So those are the right side injectors and the left side injectors. This harness is kind of upside down. All right. So these are left side, and the way it's numbered is from front to back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see, let's get this set up somewhere. Injector 1 is gonna come up here. Which way do these go? Let's see, on this side I can see a little bit better. Looks like the clippy thing goes to the bottom, I guess. Don't really know. Let's see, injector 1. That must go to the top. Yeah, the clip is at the bottom. All right, so it goes on like this. Now, don't want these on the outside of the rail. I guess they got to go on the outside of the rails. You can't really put them on the other way. All right, injector 1. They should just clip on there, right? I think. Let you push it. Yeah, that's right. That's how the only way it can go. It has to go like this. Oh, there it goes. Clip 1. And then let's get injector 2. Alright, stop here. Let's see. These will run off the back. Injector 1. How do they pull off when you go to take them off? Just squeeze them like that? There's injector 1. Number 2 on left, 2L, yep. Alright. he's got a good positive clip on, that's for sure. All right, and what do we got here? 3 and 4. Okay, come around here. Have a little bit of a jumble to it. I like to run them a little straight. All right, let's see. Get the breather out of the way. This is gonna kind of be a little bit of a mess, I think. Injector 3. And injector 4. All right. Let's see. Let me just connect those. Let's see. Let's pull these. Let's see. I angle those in a little bit. Yeah, that looks a little better. Okay. I should be able to run that right down the back of the back here. 1 and 2 up here connected. Let's get this up here all the way from that. And then we got injectors 3 and 4 on this side. And 3. All right, let's put these facing out. There we go. Now I'm going to want to zip tie these down this way somehow. And those will connect. All right, I've already got the idle air control sensors connected. Now we got all these damn sensors. Where does this stuff go to? All right, let's figure out. See, we got a map sensor that goes over here to the front. So maybe we should run all this down this side. Coolant. I'll run this run down the back, maybe. I think it goes right up here. So let's pull this here and let's run it underneath this. Because I need it to look fairly nice. All right, let's see. And let's get the thing on this side. Yeah, it should go right on top right here. Coolant. There we go. Then we have on this side air temp, which will go to my air cleaner. We have, let's see, these all run on top of this, or should they run on the inside of that? Let's run them down the inside of this. That'll make it look a little cleaner, I do believe. There we go. And you're going to be super long down the backside like this. Yeah, that'll look all right. That'll work. That'll work. All right. So have map sensor. It's going to go on right here. We have air temp, which I say goes to the air cleaner, which is going to go about right here somewhere. What's this one? Fuel pressure. It goes over here to the front. And then the last one should be the throttle position sensor right here. All right. And then you just come over here and connect the big part. And then boom, there we go. My fuel injection is now connected. Wow. There's not really much to that. That's pretty simple, y'all. Pretty easy. Now, I just need to come and clean all this up. So let me do that. All right, the spiders down in here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. There we go. And I guess that cleaned up. All right, here's a closer look at it. Got our injectors run down the side here and just tied into the fuel rail, so it kind of keeps everything nice and neat and cleaned up. And over here, We have this, that's good enough. I may try and get this a little bit tighter like that or something. I don't really know. It's okay like that for now. And then this just goes right here. And the air cleaner is going to hook up about right there somewhere where the air cleaner's at. Clip, and just clip into the bottom of that. Now I need to, oh, here's the other side. It's run fairly clean, so it'll look pretty good. It's tied up back there behind it. Looking all right. So now I need to take and put this bracket in place. So let's get set up and see how we're going to mess with this mess and get all that lined up right. All right, let's start out putting this. All right, let's see. I'm gonna want that to go probably right here on this top one, pull. Or will it be the better one for the middle? Let's see. What would be better for this? Let's see. Once that's set there, let's do that one. Good. Let's set it up on this one. So I got this little thing here. Oh, what the hell? That ain't gonna work. That's just a ball, but then how do I clip that? That's not gonna work. That's not gonna go on there. All right, I gotta do something a little different. I grab the ones off of my old carb and put those on here. All right, well, that was a bit of a mess. Had to run around and I picked up one of these. It's a transmission kickdown stud. That's the one I put down for the bottom. And then the one that came with the Edelbrock brackets, I took that and just did a little bit of grinding on it to make it so my little clip will fit on here. And that should clip on there like that, which we'll get a close-up of it in a minute. And it comes with this bracket that's straight. I'm assuming that needs to be bent, and I can put it right back here, and then I can connect the kick-down spring to that. It's not long enough though. Huh, interesting. All right, well, we'll see how that goes on there, because that should clip in there somehow. And then I don't know how to make that work. Oh, this is supposed to go to. Maybe it'll go to the bracket. I can figure something out there. So, I guess first things first, we gotta get the bracket on there. Let's see, what's a half-inch bolts here. Let's loosen those up. All right, that wasn't very easy. I had to do a little finagling here so you can see. So here's the Edelbrock bracket that you can buy for this. That part works out great. Had to modify this. You can see I had to grind on it just a little bit to get this clip to stay on there, but now it ain't going anywhere. The bottom one hooks up to the throttle bridle. Y'all saw me fix that. And then here is the top. And then that, I just put a bolt in there and then just put the screw in there and bolt the spring. So now works like a champ, and that should stay working. As you can see, when I barely move, see that little thing that moves right there? I mean, just barely any movement up here moves that. That's the throttle position sensor, which we need to hook up. So now everything is connected except for the air temp. We got to connect that one. We'll put the air cleaner on. So I need to adjust the throttle screw a little bit and hook the fuel pump wire up down there. And O2 sensor. Damn, I gotta get the O2 sensor in. So let me get all this done. But for now, we're almost there, y'all. That's looking pretty good. I'm liking that. It's kind of messy, I think. I consider it messy. Oh, I gotta tighten up this ground cable down here. Oh, and alternator cables. Damn, still gotta make those. All right, let's do that. Let me get on some stuff here. We got everything ready. This camera's not making a bunch of noise. Let's see, we got everything connected. Throttle cables, everything's there. We got your new alternator connected with battery cables in it. A little bit of radiator fluid. We're gonna add about another. I got another gallon to add in there. It's gonna have to burp anyway. Let's move this. All right, now let's do the setup wizard thing. So you gotta turn the key on. Let's get in here and get this set up. All right, let's see. Let's get this on. Let's see how I get this thing. All right, here we go. All right, turn on the key. Ooh, I hear the fuel pump going. And then we connect. Let's see. Come on. There it goes. All right, let's do setup wizard. Let's got the base mat. Okay, start the wizard. Yes, let's see, because I play around naturally aspirated. Yep. Standard. Yep. Cubic inch. $496. Let's go miles. I'm about 225. 58 psi. 35 pounds an hour. All right, we're setting it up. Let's see. Once the map is loaded, cycle power, ignition key off for 10 seconds, then on. It says then it will automatically disconnect from the ECU when the loading is complete, 100%, and try to reconnect with the ECU on the next step. Almost there. 100%. All right, let's turn this off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. And because I live in Mississippi, we'll say 10 Mississippis. All right, prepare. Oh, turn it back on. Get that fuel pump running. Man, that is awesome. All right, prepare to start engine. Remaining steps must be performed with the engine running. At idle, idle screw, Okay, I did that. Already set it up. Timing light onto number 1. All right, let's see. Ignition timing is unlocked. Press the set base timing button to lock the timing. Why is it saying 15 degrees? I'm supposed to set it at 12 degrees. So lock base timing, 12 degrees. Engine's not warmed up. Coolant temperature must be above 165. All right, press start the engine and adjust distributor to 12 degrees for the top dead center with a timing light. Tighten distributor clamp. All right, let's see. See what happens. Let's turn the key. Woo, fingers crossed. I don't know what's gonna happen here. Ooh, almost. Yeah. Yeah, all right, it died. All right, let's get this timing light set up, get some stuff going, and All right, we're gonna get us a cold start here this morning. Let's see what it does with a cold start. You can't even see that. All right, let me turn the key on first. Get that fuel pump going, get it connected. Oh yeah, I had a fuel leak. Let me make sure that's not leaking. Doesn't look like it's leaking. Hopefully it gets that fixed up. Had a little leak over there. Let's connect. Oh, I connected fast. Alright. Let's go to gauge displays. Do E-tuner? No, let's go back. Let's do digital display. There we go. You can't see. Well, let me pull this little thing. Let's see if I can get this set up. There we go. Because I need to adjust that idle air thing up. Alright, let's start it and just see what happens. So we're going to shake off. This little part right here, I'm doing the voiceover for it because I was trying to get the idle air control set up. You can see right here, it's in about 31, 32%. You gotta let it warm up, get the coolant to the right temperature, and then you set the turn the air fuel screw in, right? Set the throttle stop. So that little part right there where it says throttle on the right hand side is not supposed to go over more than about 1 or 2%. If you do, then it's going to start messing up your controls. You can see right there it's starting to go past 2%. I wasn't paying attention to that because I didn't read the instructions right. Once you get it there, you're supposed to turn the engine off, restart it. You can see my idle's going all the way up to 1,000 RPMs. It's going back and forth. I'm up too high, right? So my idle air control is completely off on this. So you need to, that's one of the parts you got to work with, and I'm still learning this. I did finally get it. Last night I had a lot of problems with it, trying to get everything set. The fans kept turning on and off when they weren't supposed to. It kept switching stuff on me because I didn't hit the little OK button over there between stuff to make it save. And also I kept blowing the fuses on the fans. And here you can see I did finally get the idle air control going. It's at 15. You're supposed to be between 5 and 15%. So I got the little green check mark. It says it's pretty good. The idle's back down. Throttle's at 2%, so it wasn't too bad. And then it just suddenly changes. Not real sure. I'm still not able to get it 100% where I want it. So I got to keep messing with it a little bit more even today. And this is several days after I did this video. But anyway, back to the fans. They kept blowing. The wiring harness I got and the relays I got, they're 40 amp relays, but the instructions said use 30 amp fuses. It kept blowing those. So once I put the 40 amp fuses in there, then, you know, boom, no problem. Now it's working like it's supposed to. So I got some 40 amp fuses and put in there. Did about a 200-mile drive, which I'm going to throw in here in just a minute to kind of give some of my thoughts on what's happening. Matter of fact, let's just throw that in here now. Let me get that going. All right, now here I am coming home from work. This is a couple days, actually about 2 or 3 days later, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in there. Finally got around to getting the truck running. As you can see, it's running and driving. My overall impressions of the Edelbrock Pro-Flo 4, I'm pretty damn happy with it so far. It works really good. It started up, the very first start as you saw it fired right up. I had to turn over a little bit just to kind of get the fuel running through the system, kind of get things going or whatever, I guess, whatever it needed. But it fired up and it started working pretty good. The idle air control still having problems with that. Here we are several days later. I'm still kind of messing with that a little bit. It's not doing exactly what I want, but the truck is running really good. The air fuel ratios tweaked a little bit for idle, for acceleration, and then for cruising. I think the truck wants to run just a little bit richer. It seems a little bit lean when it's running under acceleration. It does accelerate. It's not super fast yet. It's not pulling as hard as the Quadrajet did, which is strange. Well, I shouldn't say strange. The Quadrajet, the 800 CFM, when it opens up those vacuum secondaries, it dumps a ton of fuel in there. So the 496 with the cam I've got, everything, it was like, give me more. I didn't care. You could give it tons of fuel and it would get up and move. I think I just have the acceleration. I didn't have enough fuel. It was still too lean. So I've leaned that or richened up the acceleration. And then I added a pump shot to it as well. So the pump shot, you can set the percentage. So I added, I think, 3% more fuel or 5% more fuel for like a 15 or 10% duration. I don't remember. I have to look at that and see. I'll do another video on that. Once I get all of my everything dialed in, I'm real happy with the way it's running. If it's running perfectly, then I'll post up results of how to do that. So I'm still in the tuning phase, right? So it does self-tune and it learns your air fuels. Now, once you get it towards learning, you got to go back and set your fuel modifiers. So there's not, I guess there's not a lot of 496s that they have a base fuel map for. It's just a base fuel map for a big block Chevy, small block Chevy, whatever. It just kind of sets the base map in there for your stuff where it will run, it'll learn, and it will work. And it did. It worked fine. As you can see, it's going down the road, no problem. It's driving just great. The issue, like I said, just needs a little bit more fuel. I think this 496, it's a little bit more hungry for fuel than the base map set. So I'm going to adjust that and we'll see how it does. I haven't got to drive it yet. Since I've adjusted that, I did adjust it, pulled it up in the driveway, made those adjustments to it, and I did a little bit of tweaking on my 4L80E. I made some changes to the shift map on that, the firmness, what shift points were, when the torque converter kicks in for the lockup converter, when it locks up and all that kind of stuff. I made a few tweaks here and there on that. But on the way home on this drive, I could feel a bit of vibration. So when I put the new wheels and tires on and the Centromatic wheel balancers, I noticed that I was pretty sure I had a warped rotor. I didn't fix it then because it's been warped. I've been hearing it make noise for a while. I thought that was part of my suspension. My shocks were making some noise, rattling up there back, making noise, but it was actually I think it's the warp rotor. So I've got those on order. That'll be probably the next video I do after this. Getting those new rotors put into place, maybe some other stuff. But it was started to get a little bit of vibration from it that it didn't have driving to work. So it was right there toward the end. It wasn't at this point yet. We still got a little ways to go. It's 90 miles from my house to work, so it's a pretty good ways up there. But it did good. It got 10. Let's see, there was 200 miles total, basically there and back. So I got 10.4 miles per gallon is what I got on this tank. Now I did, some tuning, some getting on it pretty hard here and there, and checking it and doing other things. So it went down a little bit. But with the Quadrajet, I was getting 10 and a half. I was averaging about 10 and a half miles per gallon with a Quadrajet. So my fuel mileage I'm not going to say it really went down. I'm going to say it's about the same. Which is to be expected. Quadrajet, right about here is where I started to feel a little bit of that vibration. I'm almost home here. But the Quadrajet sips the fuel unless you put your foot in it. Once you put your foot in it, it'll dump it in like a toilet bowl. But if you're driving around, sensibly, it just sips on the fuel. So the same thing the fuel injection does. It's more efficient. I'm sure it's going to rev better. It's going to do a lot of things better. And I think the fuel mileage will go up once I get everything dialed in and get everything set and it learns its fuel map a little bit better. I really anticipate that it's going to do quite well, and I think I'm going to be extremely happy with it. It starts great. That's the best part. With the Quadrajet, it would leak down fuel and everything. So you had to crank and crank and crank and crank, and finally it would start up, and it'd rev real high, and you had to get it warmed up. this Pro-Flo is working perfect when it starts. Yeah, here we go. Here I'm getting gas. This is where I had to put in. I can't remember how much gas I put in. I have to look at my records. The video is gonna be done before I even get into this stupid thing. So, um, overall impression with it, I'm super happy with the way it runs, and it's doing a really good so far. Um, and I can't complain. Hey, I put in here it is. I got to pull up on my phone now. 20 gallons, 20.5 gallons. Um, so it did pretty good. So you get 200 miles, you got 20 gallons, not bad. So you're getting about 10 miles a gallon, a little bit less. So anyway, I will do some more videos coming up. I hope you enjoyed this series of putting the fuel injection on. Hit that like, hit that subscribe for me, man. It really helps me out. Anything you guys can do to kind of give me some views on here, give me some time. It helps me out. I'm trying to grow the channel and do a few more things. And I got a lot more projects left to do on Sub-Zilla. If you've gone back and looked at some of them, you see there's quite a bit left to do. So I think next is going to be brakes. After I get the brakes done, then we'll kind of move into a few other things. But I appreciate you guys watching. Tune in next week. More is coming. Thanks.